We spent 2 nights in Hoi An during our Vietnam trip with our kids and had so much fun in this UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you're looking for a great mixture of culture, history, and relaxation, add a stop in Hoi An. So we flew Vietjet from Ho Chi Minh City and arrived into Da Nang Airport before taking a 30-minute drive to the Citadines Pearl Hoi An hotel. I chose this hotel because it had 2-bedroom suites and it gave us beach and pool access, and at the same time we were only a 10-minute drive into the ancient town. So although we sadly couldn't time our visit with the monthly Hoi An Lantern Full Moon Festival, we still had a great time. Upon landing and checking into the hotel, we decided to visit the ancient town, and obviously we started with an Anthony Bourdain recommended banh mi spot. We also saw a food market and popped in there, and this is where I stumbled upon the famous Khao Loi style. I highly recommend wandering through this market when you visit Hoi An, and this entire section of Hoi An is a great example of a 15th century Southeast Asian trading port. Obviously, we also got our shopping on. Many folks get custom-made outfits here, and we certainly bought quite a few gifts as there were many craft stores and stalls here, and there's a lot of bargaining happening. But here's a tip. One section of this entire ancient town wasn't into bargaining, which we loved, and we discovered that on our second day. So there's a tip. If it's bargaining that you're not into, go find that other section and you'll be fine. We love the evening vibe here because you can just sit by the water at one of the many cafes and bars and watch as the sun sets and the lanterns light up. We couldn't close out our first day without releasing lanterns of our own, so the 4 of us bought some tickets and got on a boat with a lantern for each child. Lanterns was 60 cents, so it is a very reasonable experience, and the boat ride itself was $12. So there's that. We obviously saw lanterns lit up around the place, where we also paid 60 cents for the kids to take some pictures at. So that was a nice way to just cap out our evening here on our first day. We're here for 2 days. So the next morning we woke up to gloomy skies, so we enjoyed a leisurely breakfast at the hotel. And we'd heard about the fabulous nail salons in Vietnam, so Kira and I took the opportunity to get our nails done. And we impressed both by the service and the designs here, because for 15 Canadian dollars a person, we got our nails done, and the designs were fantastic. They even picked us up from our hotel. Once our nails were done, the 2 of us wandered through the ancient town again, and the contrast between the nighttime and the daytime was shocking. It was so quiet and serene here, and I definitely recommend wandering around during the early hours of the day if you have a chance. Hoi An is the banh mi capital of Vietnam, and I found my favorite one in Vietnam here at Madame Khan. We took these back to our hotel by calling a grab taxi, and since the weather was starting to warm up, we decided that an afternoon in the pool was called for because those beach waves were looking too rough for us. That evening, we had our coconut forest tour booked with the same tour company that we use for all of our tours in Vietnam, Ecolux Travel DMC, and this was the one activity chosen by our kids. They really wanted to twirl around in a coconut basket, and we certainly did that. The Bay Mount Coconut Forest was a revolutionary base during the war, and today it is a UNESCO-recognized World Biosphere Reserve, and we got to float all through it. We were in these boats for about 45 minutes, and we took in the various activities happening on the water. There were fishermen casting nets, people singing folk songs, and men in boats willing to splash the water with you in the boat, for extra payment of course, and obviously the kids wanted to do that and we couldn't say no. As part of this tour, we also had a chance to try our hand at fishing. We caught nothing but enjoyed this feast of a meal here. Now, on our way out, I was curious about these nipa palm trees that we kept seeing throughout the day, and our tour guide told us that they're called water coconuts, and there are many uses for the various parts of the tree. The fruit is actually soaked in sugar and served as a treat. If you're planning to do a coconut forest tour, just do the main basket stuff and don't bother with the additional games and activities, because I didn't think it was worth it. While the meal was great, it did not include local dishes, which was a bit disappointing. So this was our last night here, and as you can see, we are back at the ancient town for our last evening in Hoi An. We sat at the Heart of Darkness brewery patio, enjoyed some treats and the views of the lit lanterns. Hoi An has so much more on offer, but this was a nice taste of it all during a 2-day trip here.